And now, the time fight fans all across the globe have been waiting for. It's the MTMV main card with your man, the Voyze. As always, in the opposite corner, my mano y mano, my verbal sparring partner, the man with the plaits in his head, none other than the Iron One, Willdris, Ruffin. What's going on, Ruff?
I felt like that was a dig.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I've been on the Nipsey tip for the last few weeks. You know, I'm trying to recreate Slim Fat Jesus for the people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Slim Fat Jesus, you know, the butterscotch skin is clear, it's delectable, the long flowing hair, you know what I mean? The swaggerless that just carries me across the water. That's what I'm
what?
The swagger that just carries me across the water.
Sound like you said swaggerless, and I was gonna need a definition for that because that was.
We're only talking about swaggerless when we're talking about individuals from St. Louis with bald heads who constantly take shots at me every week.
Okay, so you said swaggerless. I said swaggerless.
Swaggerless, however you want to put it, sir.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and as you can see, the shenanigans are running the file. From production to my co-host, it's the main card. To my left or right, depending on how you're looking, it's the man, the Mr. Legend, the man with his own t-shirt, wearing his red Charlie Brown shirt, the Voyze. Voyze, how you feeling, sir?
He said red Charlie Brown shirt. I don't think Charlie Brown has worn anything red. The one who wore red was Lucy. It wasn't even Peppermint Patty, and that don't make sense. But anyway, I'm doing fine. You know, you feeling a little froggy today, but I'm fine.
I'm just going to say I'm not old enough to remember that. I only saw the reruns. We got some great things to get into with you today. UFC 293. Man, that was shocking. Also, we got a nice little sequel coming for you. And we're going to talk about Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin. I'm not even sure what to think of that. So, Voyze, let's get into it. KOs and low blows.
Let's do it.
Now, UFC 293 saw a major upset when the favorite and middleweight champion Izzy Adesanya was defeated by Sean Strickland in a bout that was nearly over in the first round. Now, it caused a lot of stir with a lot of people. There were so many thoughts that came out after the fight, with many even wondering, does Izzy still have it? Or was Sean Strickland literally on his time that day? Because you saw a lot of that. You saw a lot of the back and forth. Sean was really with it. He wanted to smoke. It was smoke o'clock in the ring.
Yes, it was.
So, Voyze, let's get into it. Izzy, after the fight, kind of paused and he said, I had a different plan for this, but life throws curveballs at you. Win or lose, I wasn't going to say much anyway, but right now, I lost tonight to the better man on the right. For some, it was kind of controversial because of the way that he just kind of walked away, and people were wondering like what happened, what was going on. Of course, his team covered him. But Voyze, what did you think about Izzy's demeanor throughout the night and even during the fight? And what do you think of many people, even such as Daniel Cormier, who said maybe it's time we move on from Izzy in that championship picture and move on to what's next?
As far as moving on, I think a reprieve would be good. I think everyone is kind of calling for him to step away. Izzy has been extremely active, and you'll see this with a lot of kickboxers. Cowboy Cerrone was the same way. He wanted to fight all the time, and Izzy likewise fought all the time, which is one of the reasons why Dana White loved him. However, this performance, especially if they're going to run it back like Dana said that they should, which I don't really think they should run it back immediately, but if they were to do so, then he needs to take some time between now and then. Although I thought the same thing when it happened with Pereira, but he got stuck this fight, and he got stuck mentally because it didn't play out the way that he thought that it would. And it's not that Izzy can't make adjustments. He made adjustments against Romero. It wasn't the funnest fight to watch, but he made adjustments to get done what he needed to get done. He also made some adjustments against Cannonier. He was just stuck. He couldn't hit Strickland. Strickland's defense was immaculate. Not that Strickland did a whole lot, because he didn't. He just wouldn't let Izzy hit him. And whenever he did deliver a strike, it was clearer and cleaner. Izzy was on his back foot all night long. That's not normally the case. In round 3, which is a round that people gave to Strickland, I thought it really could have gone either way. Izzy started moving forward for the first time all fight, and he was having some success. But I think getting clipped really made him a lot more cautious as the fight went on, so he didn't want to take as many chances as he normally would. Izzy was had a nice shine on him by the second round, because he had to keep moving the whole time. Strickland wasn't doing anything but marching forward like this, little bit by little bit, conserving his energy. He barely moved. Again, he didn't throw much, but when he did, it was cleaner. And it just was not the Strickland that we normally see. Strickland usually is all wild and coming forth and doing a bunch of stuff. And I just think it totally threw Izzy. Something else that may have thrown him was that he was at home. He wanted to fight in his region. I say at home, but Oceania and New Zealand specifically, and Australia have a rivalry. But Strickland was the one that was over. That's who they were cheering. They were booing Izzy the whole time. And there's a concept there called tall poppy syndrome, which is where people in that region don't want to see people get too big. So they purposely cut them down. That they hate. It's the crabs in a barrel mentality. And they pull people down. So as they see people getting bigger and better, they start booing them. And that may have gotten to him. It could be a combination of things. It just was a bad night.
Yeah, it seemed like it was like a bad night from the beginning, especially that the ending of that first round, which, I mean, it completely went viral. And I feel like maybe at that point, Sean Strickland had completely gained full confidence of where he was going with the fight, even though there were other rounds that, Izzy did win. So where do you see Izzy Adesanya going from here? Because a lot of people are saying, hey, maybe he should be out of championship contention for a while. Maybe he should take a step back. Do you see him maybe taking a break, or do you see him literally just coming out and going for the rematch or going somewhere else?
It's so hard to say where Izzy will go from this point. He could take a break and hone his skills, get some much needed rest for his body, get rejuvenated. He could say, I want it right back, just like he did the last time that he lost. I really cannot say which way he will go. I know as a fan of Izzy, talking about my shirt, I was going to wear my yellow Izzy shirt today. I sure enough wore it yesterday proudly. I want everybody to see I love Israel Adesanya regardless of what happened. But as a Izzy fan, I like to see him take a little time. Let the division, there's some different things going on. Let that shake out, see what happens, get a break, and come back. The heart grows fine in the presence of absence. And I think having some absence and allowing him to come back later would be good for his career and great for the fans.
Right. That's actually happening right now with Roman Reigns in WWE. Shout out to TKO. I just wanted to put that out there.
He didn't wrestle last week, so that's a.
Well, no, he's been gone for a couple weeks. So
okay, couple weeks. Okay, all right. I guess when you do wrestle 5 times a week,
you need to jump on this, considering the fact that now UFC and WWE are like cousins, and
they're not cousins. They're like twins.
Before we move on to the next item, the person that gets lost in the shuffle here is Sean Strickland. He had a great fight, stepped out. He did some dominating things. here and there. Where do you see his trajectory going now? What happens for him next?
Again, it's so hard to say because this is not a Sean Strickland that we've seen before. If Pineda was still at 185, then I'd say run it right back with Pineda, because Pineda just demolished him. However, he's been doing some training with Pineda after he beat him. So I don't know that that's a fight that Alex would even want anymore. Drakus Duplessis is out there, and he could fight, although Dana's been talking about some. I don't really want to see that fight because Drakus didn't step up for this one. Cannonier was the backup fighter. So if the UFC is going to stick to the rules that they have, if you weigh in as a backup fighter, you get the next title shot. So that's what should happen. But again, anything could happen.
Definitely. UFC, that should be their slogan. If it can happen, it will happen. Now, moving on to another really crazy, weird situation, the turn of events here. Now, in an odd, maybe 2-3 days manner, the Shakur Stevens versus Frank Martin bout for the WBC vacant lightweight title had all but been decided, and then it all of a sudden fell apart, according to Top Rank. Now, Top Rank said it sent the contract over to PBC the following day, but was later informed that Martin was no longer proceeding with the fight. Martin was actually set to earn a career-high 7-figure payday per the sources. Now, the two of these gentlemen have gone back and forth, literally through the media, talking about what they were going to do to each other, and we thought we were getting this. I believe it was actually scheduled for November.
That's when it's being targeted, yeah.
Voyze, help us make some sense of this. What happened here? And essentially, what's going to be next? Because a big person everyone is thinking about is Shakur Stevens. What happens here next?
Well, I mean, Shakur is the one who's supposed to be fighting. And he, as Top Rank has dubbed him, they're calling him the most ducked fighter in boxing, which is understandable. Tank Davis was being targeted for the fight with Shakur. Nope. Isaac Cruz was calling for a fight with Shakur. Then when he got the paperwork, nope. Then Frank Martin, nope. It's crazy. I'm not in the rooms, so I cannot say specifically what is happening. What I do know is that all signs said that the fight was going to happen. And then when they got the contract, then they walked away. Didn't attempt to renegotiate per se. They just walked away, which seems really, really odd. Now, there's information coming out in social media recently. He being Shakur and Frank have been going back and forth regarding things, and Shakur's like, duck. Frank was like, I'm not ducking. And then Shakur put out there, everything was good. And, then you asked for 50% when we said, no, it wasn't going to be a 50-50 fight. Then you walked away. When you were getting ready to get paid, you said like 4 times more than he'd ever gotten paid. I want to say Frank Martin's highest purse, at least based on the research I could find, was $75,000.
Oh, wow.
You're getting $1 million guaranteed, but you're not taking the fight. Why is this happening? I think it is because of 3 letters, not the UFC, but the PBC. And PBC, I believe, stands for Professional Boxing Company. They are professional boxers. They fight professionally, and it's all about the business, which from a boxer's perspective, I'm not mad about. From the way that boxing has presented itself for decades, dare I say almost millennia, it's all about the best fighting the best. It's about proving who is the best, not who's the best businessman, not who can, fight as many fights and make as much money as they can. Although, again, I ain't mad at that. Get your money, get your money, get your money. But it leaves boxing fans holding the bag, literally. Because here it was, we were getting ready to see another phenomenal fight. Gone in smoke. Now, some people say it's because he's going to fight Tank. Okay, and he being Frank Martin, with that being in-house with PBC. Okay, would that be a bigger fight than this? Maybe now because his name is out there, but before his fight, or I should say before this was being bandied about, who knew Frank Martin? Raise your hands. Yeah, nobody. Didn't even know he was out. Surely didn't know he was at 135 with everyone that was being talked about with Fighting Tank. Was Frank Martin's name in the conversation? No, because he wasn't in the conversation. Now he may be in the conversation going forward because of the things that have happened. But yeah, so I really don't know. We'll see as things shake out. But I feel for Shakur because it seems like nobody wants to fight him. David Haney went to a whole new weight class. Yeah, it just doesn't seem as if there's anyone who wants to step in the ring with this man.
Yeah, I'm not really sure for everyone to be talking over Twitter about how tough they are, and now for no one to ever want to take a fight with Shakur, there's got to be something to it. On the flip side, if Shakur faces someone and then somehow he ends up being knocked out, which I personally don't see happening, but it's boxing, so you never know. Yeah. So I guess it's one of those things where it's kind of like a soap opera, and we'll see what happens. But I completely agree with you. And it goes back to what we talked about with Tank Davis a couple months ago on the show, where we talked about how a lot of times these promoters are literally kind of destroying the sport for fans and sometimes even boxers alike, because now we're losing time. And eventually then there's going to be like, oh, they're past their time, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully we can still get that bout. Now, we're going to take a quick break. Those Ozell brands, them shoes, they there. We got to take a break with Ozell, pay some bills. When we come back, UFC Fight Night, the sequel's back. And also is it the IBF?
IBF, you're right.
No, I think it's the IF. I'm sorry, the IFB Featherweight Championship. I'm slacking. We're coming back. We'll be right back.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do. Ozell brand. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Shout out to all the dyslexic homies out there, man, because I sure enough read that backwards, and I don't know it, and I wrote it. So awesome shot. Make sure.
Look, I'm just mad that you were like, no, it's not, and I was like, yeah, it is. You're like, no.
Listen, I'm perfect 98.9% of the time, and then like there's like that 1% where I'm like the Boston Celtics. All right.
Best to ever do it. Okay.
No, I'm not doing this with you, Voyze. Voyze. Now, we were talking about sequels, and we always talk about return fights and how excited we are. This one may come with some fireworks. Now, I always like originals, but the sequels, they always provide more excitement and sometimes a cliffhanger. Now, we're probably going to get that opportunity this time when Alex Grasso takes on Valentina Shevchenko in a rematch of their UFC Flyweight Championship that happened back in March of this year. Now, in that bout, we saw Shevchenko come in as a heavy favorite, only to be upset by the underdog in a fourth-round submission. Now, Grasso is coming in very confident as a champion. Now, mind you, it's on Mexican Independence Day, and there may be possibly a new title involved, a custom title. And she
Mm-hmm.
stated that while Shevchenko had been up going into the fourth round of the last bout, that she had plans to win every round of this fight. She stated, I know what I'm capable of. I'll be more prepared for this second fight for wherever the fight goes. So, yeah, I'm just excited to show everyone what I've been working on. My training has changed a lot, and I've trained better than the last one. I did a lot of adjustments to be winning every single round now, and I know she's a great athlete. She's training super hard, and she's super competitive, but I'm ready for every single thing that she can be ready to do in this fight to hold on to my championship. Now, Shevchenko, she coming in like a whole rap beef is going on right now. Now, she is clearly on a mission, and she showed that by the rematch clause that she requested soon after the loss. Now, while Dana White has that brand new custom championship for Grasso that he's been showing, Valentina is not only looking to spoil it, but in her words, I'm going to remind people of who I am. I think a lot of people have forgot. Now, at the time of the loss, Bullet had been on a 9-bout win streak, defending that UFC Women's Flyweight Championship against a number of contenders, and she won soundly on each one. She said people aren't watching the fight. They are watching the finish. I was winning that fight, and now I have a chance to fix my mistakes and show what I was supposed to do with that time. Now, Voyze, a smart man like me hears those words, and I know that Shevchenko is coming in, and she means business. To a lot of people, it was probably one of the biggest upsets of the year, if not the biggest.
Not anymore.
And now, of course, Grasso is actually, she's coming in also confident, stating that she's planning on winning. What are your thoughts on the comments by both women coming into this bout, and what are we expecting coming into this one?
Well, speaking about the comments, first and foremost, let's take a look at that beautiful belt that they were talking about. The champ Alexa Grasso took some pictures with it, and it is nice. It is nice. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't she lovely? And I'm not just talking about Grasso. That belt is nice. It's real nice. And the card itself is nice. UFC, or I should say Noche UFC. Kind of sound like I got a little Latino in me, don't it? Noche UFC.
Not really.
Okay, whatever. You just hating. Anyway, that's right. Keep doing your job. Your hate only elevates. Anyway, there are 8 fights on this card with people of Mexican descent in it. That's right. Yeah. That boy's good. Oh wow. The producer is using other stuff. Okay, that's fine. Just because some of us aren't retired rappers don't mean we don't have bars. Anyway, it's 11 fights. 8 of them feature people of Mexican descent. The one fight that does not feature someone, or one of the fights that doesn't feature someone of Mexican descent, the co-main between Kevin Holland and as they call him, Flat Nose Jack Della Maddalena. Yeah, that's going to be a banger right there. Not the Voyze marquee matchup, but it should be an exciting fight to watch. Either way it goes, both women have they said a lot. They said a lot and have some very notable things within what they said. With Shevchenko, she's right. She was winning the fight up until she lost. And she lost in a Chris Weidman, Luke Rockhold manner, throwing a spinning back kick and then getting caught and got choked out. Before that, she was winning the fight. Valentina won, or I should say, Grasso won the first round. Valentina won the second and the third, and the fourth was close. It was a really close round. It was really a pick'em round up to the point that she got caught. You know, she made a mistake and she lost. So there ought to be some changes. One of the changes that I see Valentina making is ensuring that it's more of a ground game, because that's why she was winning rounds 2 and 3 is because she kept taking it to the ground and controlling it there. For the champ Grasso, her statements scare me a little bit. I plan to come out and win every round this time. You plan on losing some rounds before? And I'll say this, that is a strategy that many fighters employ, but it's usually when you're fighting someone who isn't used to fighting championship rounds. You may give up a round or so, let the person get tired, and then really put it on them in the later rounds. Valentina very rarely has been in anything other than a title fight for her time in the UFC, whether it be at 135 or at 125. So, yeah, you should be planning on winning every round, because if you don't plan on winning every round, then you don't plan on winning. And you were losing the first fight. You caught her, which is great. Wonderful story. And now on Mexican Independence Day, with a fight made just for you, to spotlight you, to thrust you into the stratosphere as far as popularity is concerned, you need to plan on winning every fight. You need to bring that Mexican spirit to the cage, that I am a warrior, I'm coming forward, you can't stop me spirit. Because if she does not embody the fighting spirit of the Aztecs in this matchup, she'll lose her crown.
Awesome take. One significant thing that I did on my research on the fight, 28 is the magic number. Now, this was the number of significant strikes that Shevchenko had outlanded Grasso in their first encounter. Now, she connected on 87 total, but she only took 59 in return. Also, she completed 4 takedowns and piled up 5 minutes and 24 seconds of control time throughout the night. So, that's kind of heavy, considering, it'll be interesting to see the changes that Grasso made. But, she's coming in with a five fight win streak, and that's including her performance of the night against Shevchenko. So make sure that you tune into that. The Voyze is going to have his tweets going off. So it's going to be a good night. That's going to be UFC fight night. Now,
even though, hold on, let us respond to the statement that was made. Thank you, C. Even though Will tried to go off on my shirt, I think he's colorblind because Charlie Brown wear yellow shirts, and I don't know where yellow look like red.
But if you listen to what I said, sir, I stated you look like Charlie Brown, but wearing a red shirt. Because that's what you kind of look like, and you got the halo over top of your head. But you came into this voice throwing shots. You know what I'm saying? You talked about my Nipsey Platts. You know what I mean?
I wish I could have plaits. That was a compliment, sir.
I don't like it.
I have dreams about having hair. I ain't playing. I be having hair. I have dreads and stuff. Then I wake up and I don't have them. That was a compliment, sir.
But why do that when you the voice? What's the old Gatorade song? Sometimes I dream that he is me. So we got like Voyze.
I can't control myself.
If I could be like Voyze, honestly, if we do a silhouette, it looks like the Michael Jordan cologne bottle. So you the GOAT. You see what I did there? See, you ain't gotta thank me later, man. That's free publicity right there.
Next fight.
Now, when I'm a butcher this gentleman's name because I don't know if it's Joette or Joette. Joette, because YouTube don't be helping me. Y'all know I be getting prepared for y'all. Now, when Joette Gonzalez is hoping that the third time is literally going to be the charm that elevates him to being a champion. Now, Gonzalez, who recently fought and had come up short in 2 WBO featherweight title fights, and it wasn't the slouches. It was the Shakur Stevenson and the Manuel Navarrete. He lost both of those by unanimous decision and believes that his time is now. We'll find out when he faces off against IBF featherweight champion Luis Alberto Lopez this Friday night. Friday night at the American Bank Center in Corpus Christi, Texas. Now, Gonzalez knows he is up against an incredibly tough odd against the champion, he's actually stated that in preparing for it, the possibility that anything can happen. He stated Lopez is a fighter who doesn't back down. He'll go to enemy territory to win and defend the belt. He's just like me wherever and whenever. He's a tough fighter. I won't know how he'll fight, but he might decide to move around this time. He might think I'll move around. I'm just preparing to do the fullest, whether he wants to move or not, but I'll be ready for whatever he brings to the table to win my title. Now, he said that he believes that experience is going to be a big factor in this bout, and that also his toughness is going to be far beyond anything that Alberto has seen in the past. Now, Lopez, meanwhile, he's much more direct with his intentions. Now, speaking to his desire to not only win, but to be the first to knock out the challenger. Lopez stated, I'm going for the knockout. It's a personal challenge that I have. Joet Gonzalez has faced great fighters like Shakur Stevens, Emmanuel Navarrete, and Isaac Doggo, and he has never been knocked out. Knocking out a tough fighter like him is a huge goal for me. He said, I know that will be a difficult fight. Gonzalez is a fighter who literally comes forward throwing a lot of punches, but I like to come forward too, so we know it's going to be a real clash. Representing Mexicans on such an important night is a great motivation for me, and I can't wait for the fight. We're going to be ready. We're going to have a plan ready, and we're going to put on a show. Now, Voyze, I mean, coming in this, Gonzalez, you have to think that at some point the magic is going to happen for him. And he faced two great fighters who could have knocked him out, and instead of knocking him out, they ended up winning by unanimous decision. So that would make me confident also. But what are your thoughts on his belief that not only is the time going to play a factor, but that his power is going to play a factor, considering the fact of who Lopez has fought in the previous?
As far as the time playing a factor, I don't really see time playing a factor, at least not on Lopez's part, because he's been active. Not only has he been active, he's been fighting champions and beating them. So for him, that really shouldn't be a problem. Gonzalez, I don't remember his last fight, but I feel like it wasn't that long ago. So I really don't see time being an issue on either end. Power, that is a difference maker. Can Lopez stop Joet? I don't know. I know he's done seemingly impossible things by beating Josh Warrington in the UK back in December, then going back across the pond to defend against Michael Conlan in Conlan's hometown of Belfast and stopping him. So, I mean, could it happen? Anything could happen because this is boxing. Lopez, I don't really know if his focus is where it needs to be, because he's angling for a fight with, or I should say, he's angling for a monster of a fight if he is successful. And that monster of a fight is with Naoya Inoue. Inoue just moved up to 122, and more than likely, he's going to be facing Marlon Topless for the undisputed belt. So he's got work to do before he even thinks about going up to 126. Like that, you're putting the cart before the horse. You need to worry about Joet Gonzalez. I can see why he may be looking him over a bit, or I should say overlooking him, because again, this is Joet's third crack at it. However, when Joet went in before, he went in up against some possibly future all-time greats in Shakur Stevenson and Emmanuel Vaquero Navarrete. You know, losing to them, that's kind of understandable. And then especially when he was facing Shakur, because at that time, Shakur was dating Joet's sister, and he had split up the family. Shakur did. They wasn't talking to the girl or anything. And after the fight, he was like, hey, Joet and Pops, would y'all please give her a call? Because, you know, she love y'all, she miss y'all. So he had to be in a different kind of headspace. in that fight. So thinking that, you'll get him, that's actually saying a lot on your end, because like I said, he lost to two possibly all-time greats, definitely greats for this age. Will the third time be a charm? I don't know. Joet has looked good, except when he's gone for the title. So, we shall see how things happen this time. I know he's focused and I know he's ready. Can he do it though? We know that Lopez can do it, and we know that he can do it in hostile territory. Will it be a little different now that he doesn't have everybody against him? We'll find out when they step between the ropes into the squared circle and start trading on Mexican Independence Day weekend holiday or something of that nature. The fact they said they both gonna come forward did my heart real good, because that's how Mexicans fight.
I'm interested to see how this plays out. Now, I know you were asking about the last fight that Joet fought. That was actually against Enrique Vivas in April, earlier this year. So
right.
he's been in the ring. My issue is that Lopez is speaking about knocking him out. He's not even considered or known to be a knockout artist. I think in like his last 8 or 9 fights, he's only had 1 TKO, and that was in the last fight. So it sounds like it might be a little bit overzealous. Like you said, I mean, they stepping in and they planning on coming in close. It's going to be interesting to see. Now, the thing about knocking him out is neither fighter is undefeated, but they both know how to go the distance. Now, in a combined 5 losses, all 5 by decision, neither have ever hit that mat for a loss. So that's going to be exciting. It's going to be a full weekend of boxing. I'm interested to see what happens. But I want to get one last thought. I know you stated that Lopez is looking for a major fight against Inoue. Even if he wins this fight, what does a convincing win have to look like for him to win to get that major fight?
I don't know what that would look like. And the reason I say that is this. Again, the next time that Inoue fights, it should be for the undisputed title at 122, where he just moved up to 122 this year. So even if he looks spectacular, what, you gonna wait till next year to try to fight him? And by the way, you're the IBF champ, where there are 4 other champs out there. Robise Ramirez being one of them, and I feel like he may be fighting on this card too. You got work to do, sir. Now, granted, you've done some things, some really good work, but there's still a lot of work to be done at 126 before you start calling out an all-time great in Inoue, who may not even come up to 126. He may say, I'm done, after he becomes undisputed champion in at least a second, if not maybe a third weight class.
Interesting. Well, like you said, we'll definitely see. There's going to be a great weekend of fights and combat sports for you. Make sure that you tap in with the Voice, at the Voice on Twitter. The takes are always there. The breakdowns are always there. Whether he's right or wrong, Voice is literally going to tell you exactly how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning with us. This is MTMV Sports. We are you. We are the fans. We put in the work. We love what we do. We travel. We connect. We do everything that we can. Make sure you visit our website, mtmvpn.com. Get a load of everything we have. We got some exciting stuff coming up for y'all. Make sure y'all check out those articles. The crew is really getting in with some of those articles, and they're literally chopping them up. We coming. We front page news now. Make sure you grab your merch. The Voice has a t-shirt out there. Why don't you have your Voices t-shirt? Make sure you cop some Ozell brand shoes. Get the right color. Voice, you got that in 2 different colors? Make sure you cop them shoes and get your shirt also. And make sure that you like, share, and subscribe with us. We're everywhere the podcasts are. Thank you for joining us. Voice, give us your final words, sir.
Well, there are a couple of other fights going on this weekend, just none with the level of cachet that Gonzalez and the other gentleman whose name is escaping me right now. That's probably because I'm too focused on what else is going on. I'll tell you his name in a minute. Lopez and Gonzalez. Hey, good to see you too, Timeless, man. It's always good to have you chime in and share, man. Appreciate it. We don't take you all being here and listen to us lightly at all. We love it. But you got some fights on Showbox as well on Friday night. On Saturday on DAZN, you got William Zepeda versus Mercito Gasta. And then on Monday, that's right, a fight on Monday. Where? Tokyo, Japan. Japan loves those Monday, Tuesday fights. You have a junior flyweight title bout taking place there. So that's some other things to look forward to until we talk to you next week at Smoke O'Clock. Somewhere around there, depending on our producer.
We Smoke O'Clock for Voyze Night 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. Now, when our producer comes on, it might be 7:20, it might be 7:35. That's not on us. Okay, just make sure y'all show up. One last.
What's going on, family?
One last thing for my combat sports and for my wrestling fans. Make sure you also check out the news today on the stock market. Endeavor combined WWE and UFC. It's major $21 billion, I believe. That's big. So make sure you check out that. If you win the stocks, make sure you check into that also. Voyze, take us out, sir.
Until next time, fight the good fight.
What's going on, family? It's your man, Willdris.
And it's your man, the myth, the legend, the Voyze.
It's Smoke O'Clock. You just watched another great show on MTMV Sports Network.
And for more exciting content just like this, subscribe, like, and share.